Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 65 of LegionsCast. It has been a mythic minute since we've all been together. I am Lord Steve Bishotti, and with me today are the Swedish meatball himself, Emil Wickman. How you doing, Emil?
Ooh. Yeah, hello there. I tried to be a meatball for you.
You did a very good job.
My best impersonation of a meatball. Sorry. Okay, yes.
And also Len LaGuardia is here. How you doing, Len?
Good. And my people make a better meatball.
Your people.
Wait a minute.
Your people. I see.
Okay.
The Italianos.
Yes.
What is the... Okay, well, Chris James is also here. I don't want to ignore him, but then I want to go right back to meatballs. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you, Lord?
Thanks for joining us. We're going to have a fun time today. But meatballs, what is the actual difference between a Swedish meatball and a regular meatball?
American meatballs, aren't they pretty big?
I mean,
They vary.
No,
They vary.
Aren't they like big and, with the spaghetti and the big meatballs like you have too?
Aren't Swedish meatballs usually gray, like they're in a gravy?
Ew, no.
Yeah, they're
They're
in a
meat.
gravy.
Dude, we've been to IKEA.
Yep.
Oh, the brown sauce? Is that a
Yes.
gravy?
Yes.
Oh, in Sweden we call that brown sauce. But but
that's
in
original.
Swedish, of course. Just translating. It doesn't sound good in English. It doesn't sound good in Swedish when I think about it either now. But it's a brown sauce, and that's a classic thing in Sweden to use with your meatballs and potato.
How do you say it in Swedish?
Brunsås.
Bloom.
Sauce? Just sauce?
Yes.
It's one of those words?
Sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce?
Ding, 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 ding.
That sounds like you're from New York. Hey, put some sauce on it.
Maybe I am. No, actually, but it's like I'm gonna try that next time in New York. I want some sauce on it.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "Are you from Brooklyn or from Bronx?" And I'm like, "I'm from Rimbo in Sweden."
Tell you what. Being culturally diversified by a meal is one of my favorite things to do. We are gonna have a good time today because we're gonna go through something I'm sure nobody else has ever done before. Italian meatballs are much better. Okay. We're gonna do something nobody else has probably done, and that is rate our top 10 Mythic Legions today. Emil, I think, is probably going to have some pictures. I'm sure he put some effort into this show, as he always does. Not as much as me, because I've been up for hours figuring out what we're going to do today and how we're going to go about it. This is the first one here.
What are we doing?
I'll be the last one to leave. That's just how I roll.
Yes.
But, I guess, it's been a while since we've been on. Do you have anything we need to talk about, Len, before we get into the meatballs of this show?
Before we get into the meatballs, I guess we could do a little taste of news, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
let's
like
see.
that taste of news.
A little
Sounds
taste-
very
little tasty meatball of news thrown out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's
So-
go
sounds
on.
fancy. It's not like we're just going to give you the news. We're going to give you a little taste of news here.
I'm gonna go straight to the Four Horsemen Studios Instagram to get that. Let's see. Yesterday, if you all saw, they revealed the Cosmic Legion Amazing Alien and Creature Creator box art.
Show
Right.
it to everyone.
Oh,
Show
okay.
it, Len.
All
Share
right,
it
hold
with the
on.
world.
Hold on. Put me on the spot.
This
And
is
Chris,
pretty cool.
if there is
go.
something that you think should be said, feel
Share
free
screen,
to say it.
this.
Don't be intimidated by the Lord.
Boom.
Trying not to be.
Look at that.
Good.
How cool is that?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I just know things, and I know that this was a collaboration with our friend Jeremy and Nate Barch working together to bring us this beauty. and that is probably what I would say. It's probably some of the coolest box art we've seen come out of there. Most unique, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Definitely the
really
most
different.
unique.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen anything like this in Mythic Legions, anything in this style or, you know.
I would hope that like with this, like it's not like a one-time off type thing, and we see like other ones down the road like this. It's really, really, really interesting.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
I agree. Was there? Did I understand it correctly or not? That were toy boxes that looked similar to this?
Yes, there was a toy from like I don't know the exact year, but it was the late '70s, early '80s, called I think it was like Monster Creature Creator, something like that, and it was a toy that you would it had different tiles, so it had a head tile, a torso tile, and a lower body tile, and there was a stack of them on the one side of it, and you would mix up the different tiles on the right side, put a piece of paper over it, and then rub it with a crayon, and it would make like a rubbing of that creature you created. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is this one?
Yeah, Mighty Men, and yeah, Trevor's old. He'll remember the real name.
Yeah.
Us
And
young
before
guys,
you
like
say
we
anything,
might not remember that.
I think we missed something when you mentioned that Jeremy and Nate were doing the box art. I think this comment
Ho, ho, ho,
means
whoa.
like you forgot someone then.
1-6 shooters, he's chiming in.
Well,
He's
I don't know. Well, then I only know what I know. I only know what I was told. I wasn't
Yeah.
told anything about you.
Yeah, maybe we should, increase the story here and say that
maybe I bet you Trevor took the pictures that they're using on the box.
I bet you he did. You take the pictures. They're beautiful pictures.
maybe it was all Trevor's idea from the beginning.
Maybe
I
it
think
was.
this is all Trevor's idea.
You know
He
what?
wanted
I'm just
the box
gonna
to look
I'm just
like
gonna
this.
cover my bases. Thanks, Trevor, for everything Mythic Legions.
Yeah.
He's behind
you
it
know
all.
what? In all honesty,
Yes.
though, Trevor didn't do that. Trevor, you did do that. The hands on the front, didn't you? Because wasn't that was also a teaser from something that they like for one of the releases. So Trevor's saying it's not his idea, but I do think that he had something to do with these hands. It's beautiful. So it's a 3-man collab, which is even better. So this year I'm gonna have Trevor sign mine.
See, I had a toy like that back in the day. Mine was a little different though. It was
Cars.
no, it was ladies.
Yes,
It was
they had that
dresses,
too. They did.
skirts, blouses.
Yeah, I had that one too. I had the ladies one, and I had a car one that was like van. It was like different parts of vehicles that you would make the side profile of a car. It was all the same company, and the thing was, I think they were really sturdy toys. That if you kept it together, it was probably passed on from like an older brother or an older sister to you.
Yeah.
So it's actually an older toy, like the year that it came out. Oh, Trevor, come on, buddy.
So I remember arranging my tiles of these ladies, and then when when the lady was dressed like I liked her, then I would do the rubbing, and then I was done.
We are on YouTube now. No more Facebook.
I'm trying.
You know, because
Yeah.
you do the rubbing.
Yeah.
When you get it done, when you get it the way you want it, you rub till you rub enough, and then you're done, and then you make another lady.
So, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Emma.
It's great to have you here, talking about toys.
Oh, this weekend is the Charlie's and Collectibles, the CCS, in Stone Mountain, Georgia, as we're affectionately calling it, Big Dubbacon or Big Dubbacon, which is a big meetup they're having down in Georgia. A lot of people going. Purple Gang friends of ours are going. Who else is going to be there? Matt Stein. Are you going, Chris, to this?
No, I
It's
was
a little
originally
far for
before
you,
it
right?
became official. Big Dub and I was talking about it, and it was, I think, the day that he got the confirmation from Jeremy that Ginger Kid was going to be like the collaborator with the official street team part of it. Was the day that I found out I wasn't going to be able to do it. It was due to
Bummer.
work. Yeah, so
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's going to be a fun event. I think they're doing some painting, sessions and all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh,
Oh, Emil, do you
Oh,
want to
this
take over
one.
that news?
well, we can save it or go to this one right away. It's up to you.
Oh, it's up to you. I'll cruise through here, see what else. There's some paint samples. It's the month of Cosmic. Go to your favorite retailer and hopefully get 20% off Cosmic figures this month. There's going to be in October. There's a small street team, I think, that's going to be New York Comic Con. IshCon is happening down south on. What's the date on that one?
It's going to be the VIP event is going to be I think it's August 2nd, which is going to be that Friday night. And then the main show will be that Saturday, August 3rd. And then that'll be, I think at the end of that day is when the Four Horsemen are going to do like the wave reveal for the new Cosmic Wave.
That is gonna be exciting.
Yes, I will be attending that one.
Oh, you will be attending it.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
There you
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm really looking forward to that.
go. Everyone get there and say hi to Chris. Saturday, let's see. And there's after hours fun. 9:30 to question mark. And they are going to have limited availability of this guy, the Tusk Heavy Gunner, which we saw earlier in the month.
Yeah.
So he will be available during the VIP. So anybody that purchased the VIP, which is limited to I think 100 tickets, which I think they're still available at this time, those will be available to the VIPs first, and then whatever is left over in remaining quantities for will be available to all the regular attendees on Saturday.
And then I'm sure that's
Be
going to
some
get
other
released
fun.
down the road
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a big release, like typical Four Horsemen fashion.
Yeah, it's
There'll
gonna
be a
be
ton of-
part of an in-stock sale later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it said in the Instagram post.
We haven't really talked about this. We've been away from the mics a little bit, except for Emil doing his little solo act a couple weeks ago. What do we think? What do we think of that guy? That guy's pretty cool.
He is pretty cool, and there are a lot of characters coming out now, or this one and the ones for Legions Con that goes in these green orange nuances, and I think it's gonna be fun to see them in hand because it's not my favorite color scheme of the different tusks we've seen, but then again we've seen a lot of awesome tusks coming out. I'm looking forward to see this in hand.
Does this feel Star Wars clones to you, Len, at all, or
No.
no? Okay, 'cause I was thinking, I don't know. When I see it, the first thing that popped into my mind is the clones on Kashyyyk. I don't know if it's the color scheme. I don't know. Maybe it's just what I thought of.
What do you think about the colors?
Me? Are you asking me or?
You or
Anybody?
anybody?
I think they're cool. I think, I mean, I think it's a cool color scheme. I think it could be, it's practical in some regards. I mean, I think it could look cool in like a foresty setting, out, yeah, like a foresty planet like Endor or Kashyyyk.
Is it really new
Go back
tooling?
to Kashyyyk.
No.
No, it's not new tooling.
Yeah,
I think.
Thomas, I don't know if it. I think it's the what's his name's the one you like, Emil. What's his name?
Novian leans.
Yeah, I
Pauldrons,
think it's
Oh, yeah,
Mason
those are-
Pauldrons.
I'm almost positive those are his Paul
Yeah, me
Jones.
too. I was messing around with them, and they're definitely leans.
Like when
Those
I
are
first saw it. Sorry, Emil. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris.
My first thought was when I saw this, it really reminded me of like the Spartans from like the Halo series. So that's where I kind of like got it from. But I love like the orange trim to it. Orange really isn't like my favorite color, but it goes well because it kind of reminds me of like Faunus's colors, right? So that's where I kind of pulled from was like Halo-esque.
I could see that.
I love the black visor thing. That's one of the
I
things that
agree,
really pop
yeah.
out for me. That I really think it looks great. And I do. Oh, Yeah, those pauldrons go on. Oh yeah, they do. And well, of course, I love that gun, that big heavy
Yeah.
cannon, whatever. It's like I think that's a badass piece, and it's
I
only
like that.
Vorga who has that tip of that weapon.
Yeah,
Right.
I like the helmet too because I like when I see something and I think it's new, and you think it's new and you think it's new, and then all of a sudden someone points it out or you realize what it is. Like
Yeah,
that's where that like reuse of parts is so clever, and it always was in the
Right.
past, where you're like you don't see it at first, and then you're like,
Mhm.
oh shit, that is what it is. You know, like I love that, and
Yeah.
they're doing and that's happening here to me anyway. Like I didn't know right away what that was.
yeah. Do you think that because in my head, of course we don't know, but or if these colors will be having anything to do with the new Ox Crew wave, the next cosmic wave
Whatever
that's
the
coming.
reveal is, yeah.
If it's gonna be these color schemes, or if these are, the same as Legions Con, so they're like the special release color schemes. I'm just playing in my head, um,
It could
because
be
the
like
Ox
this
Crew,
is
like,
a
yeah.
this is like a teaser to whatever that is, right? Maybe. Why don't you talk about it now? Do you want to talk about that?
Let's do it because
Let's
I'm
do it.
sure some people will be fascinated with what we have found out, and that is this. So there have been a lot of speculations when we saw this tease of the upcoming wave. We have, my favorite of that wave. Help me, anyone. Her name? Her
Probe droid girl.
probe head girl. That's her name. Yeah, everyone knows who it is. Chris, feel free to, or anyone,
Come on,
say
Chris.
something.
I know, I know.
She is amazing. And in this teaser for the next wave, we have two more characters. Kern Ray. We can always count on Jesse.
Kern Ray.
Thanks, Jesse.
That's what I said. Imperial probe
Okay,
droid.
yeah,
droid girl.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Of course you did. And so we have two characters that have been, they're pretty hard to decipher how to see how they look. But
Mhm.
LegionsCast, maybe we have some things that we can offer. There are so many great shows that can offer so many things, but I think we have cracked this one. I think we have something to show.
Mhm.
Are you prepared?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a little bit hard to decipher it, but I think this could be it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. How
Definitely.
did you
So
do
it's
that?
gonna be a orange brownish creature with robe, and then there's gonna be a blue Jedi with big ears. And you couldn't actually see the ears in the deciphering, but I think that's just being lost. So
Yeah.
this, get prepared for something awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty.
don't even think that's Kern Ray. I think that's Kern Roy.
Hmm.
Oh, her brother?
Yes. Exactly.
Ray and
Yeah.
Roy.
Ray and Roy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very inventive parents. That's it. But I am looking forward to see them. But let's say, any speculations, if we don't go with that deciphering, any guesses?
I think the one on the right is going to be a Thraxian, and I hope it's going to be one of the Thraxian hunters that we haven't seen yet. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. Because they said in the bio of the scout, like there's hunters, there's elders. I'm hoping it's going to be like one of the hunters, and we get to see like the representation of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
I think you're definitely right. I think that's a Thraxian. But and then it means that the Thraxians come in different colors.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And the one to the left, then we have a robe. It's kind of like, is it an alien or is it a 2.0 female?
I think you were right. I think it's a Jedi.
Oh,
A Jude. A Jude.
Yeah, it's what Trevor's saying. It's current Ray Skywalker.
There you
Of
go.
course it is, but that's okay. I saw
Confirmed.
your face there. I'm just gonna
His name's on the box, folks. It's confirmed.
yeah. I'm just gonna remove that for now. So sorry. Moving back to Chris. This is Steven. Steven, this is Chris. You've
Hey,
met.
Chris. Yeah, we met. I see Chris everywhere, it seems.
I'll bet. That's what I kind of hear too. I was making the joke for a long time with the Joe Russo, and there was an inside joke with our local group to where it was called Wall Joe. So you find a photo with Walter and you find a photo with Walter and Joe, and that was Wall Joe. And then now Joe has been cracking on me that with like what the Lord just said, that I'm just popping up everywhere. So it's kind of
I
funny.
mean, I feel like I've seen, and I could be wrong. I feel like I've seen you around a lot too, though, in person.
Yeah,
You know, you get around.
a little bit. Legions Con, Power Con.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You're just one of those guys. It's like, oh, he's there again. There he is. There's that guy again. You know.
that's not in a bad way.
No, it's not bad at all. I mean, hey, if I can recollect who you are, you're winning.
Awesome.
So no, that's pretty cool. How long have you been collecting Legions?
I've been in the game since early 2019 is when I got in, when I found it, and ever since then it's just been one little push and then down the rabbit hole I went.
Well, give us more of bearings here. What wave was your first wave that you were like in on?
I think the one wave that really blew me away was the Aether wave. That's the one that really did it. My first two purchases was off of one of the YouTubers that he's kind of backed away from it now. He doesn't really actively collect Mythic Legions. That was Josh Pence.
Mm-hmm.
My first two purchases was Pelicus and Takar, and I got them both for like $60 each. And then he threw in a Goblin Legion builder, and those were my first ones that I ever got. I still have them. And after that, I went to a local convention, walked around, couldn't find any Legions. And then another group, before I even found the Cabal, was doing we were just doing like a live chat, and then it turned into like a live auction. And then I ended up buying like 8 mythics out of that. And it just snowballed, because I think right around that same time, I want to say the Siege of Björngar was up and it was available, because I remember getting Kronaw and a couple of the other ones. And then
the Wastelands wave.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And then when Aether showed up, like that was it was all over from that point.
So this seems like it's about the same timeline as when Emil got in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So,
It is.
So you've been around a while.
A little bit.
Yeah. What do you think it is about Mythic Legions that just sucked you in?
I've always been a fan of like swords and sorcery. I love like Gladiator movie, Troy, a lot of those movies that are like that. But I've always been a fan of like ancient history, and then Lord of the Rings and stuff. So it's like the orcs and the skeletons and the knights. Like there wasn't really anything like with Marvel Legends or like Black Series that I could really like full on relate to, because up to that point I was collecting. One of the first things that I did when I jumped back in was like Spider-Man, and that turned into Venom and Carnage. And then I eventually started collecting Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin ones, because that was big on my childhood. And I was able to obtain everything that I had as a kid, and then everything that I wanted as a kid that I never got. And then once I reached that point, the only things that was coming out was like the current stuff. So I ended up moving that. I jumped into Star Wars. That was short lived. And then it was a little bit after that when I found Mythic Legions. And then now, if it's in a brick and mortar store, I don't collect it. It's simply like I collect other things, but it's really Mythic Legions are my number one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
I'm with you too.
Yep.
It's pretty much I guess you could say you can find some G.I. Joe in brick and mortar, and I'm doing the classifieds, but man, it's really getting down to just Legions and stuff. So no, that's great. Yeah, well, we're glad you could join us today.
I'm absolutely blown away for you like having me on, thinking of me. Like
But I was
I'm
against
I'm
it.
just another
To be,
guy.
I mean, just being
I
honest.
appreciate it.
When
Yeah.
they told me, I was like, but these guys really pulled for you. So
That's why we have a tribunal, so we can have
Yeah.
2-to-1 and break ties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work
Makes
together,
sense.
Chris.
apparently, being a lord doesn't mean much. So, no. So I think it's. Should we just get into our topic for today?
Let's do it. I think it's gonna take some time, so let's do
Okay,
it.
let's do it.
So, we should prepare some music for this. Do we have some music to just do the presentation so you can say what it is? Let's see. What is
I
this?
think I've done enough, Emil. If you didn't do music,
I didn't. Yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna let's go with this one. So, I know we all love Mythic Legions. Everyone who's watching this show has a special sentimental feeling towards some figures more than others. And in this coming hour, 4 of us are gonna share our top 10 as of now released Mythic Legions figures. Maybe there will be 1 or 2 of these that you will share with us, and maybe there will be some that you won't. Let's delve into this. That music
Yeah,
worked.
That was kind of fun.
That was
I
nice.
like
Awesome.
Sound like Sonic.
Yeah, it sounded like Sonic.
Now the rules that I was given that I understood is these have to be figures that are out, like in hand.
Hmm
Yeah.
If it's anything coming down the road, anything you pre-ordered, you can't choose it.
No.
So there will be no Atlas 2.0 on my list, even though he would be, I'm sure, if I had him in hand.
And I would definitely have Gideon Heaven's brand at the top somewhere, for sure. The second one, new one. So here we have our lists, and we're gonna show, from left to right. We're gonna go through the number 10. I have a slide for each figure, and we can say whatever we want. If there is something short, then maybe we'd say something more about the ones at the top or whatever, Okay, we'll see what the time is. So, Steven, you feel free to lead the show, but we start with your number 10 pick, which is
Okay. Yeah,
Thrace.
Thrace. Thrace is amazing. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm sure all you guys are going to have her on your list too. And if you don't, you're wrong. She's just a cool figure. And now there's not a whole heck of a lot new on her except for some soft goods and that beautiful head sculpt. But it's enough to make it amazing. So there she is.
There she is. Steven's number 10 pick.
Why am I
You wanna
pink?
say something?
Was that intentional?
Yes.
Oh.
That is really intentional.
It's the Lord's colors.
I think it's a beautiful color, and it works with your photo up here. It's pretty, and it's. So, anyone else want to say something, or should we go on to Len's number 10?
I
Great
think she's
figure.
an absolute beautiful. Yeah, she's beautiful and great part use, and like I have a few, so that way I can swap around the parts, and she's absolutely great. And I love seeing what the customizers are doing in the community too by repainting the head. And
Yeah.
just every time it looks phenomenal.
Can
Man,
do a
I
lot
wish I had
with
a
that.
thought to say that.
So it's interesting to see if our lists are gonna be similar or not. Len, your number 10 pick is
Ooh, kicking it
This
old
guy.
school.
Hibius.
This guy's so fast because of his racing stripes.
He is fast.
It just makes him. I'm all in this guy for the head because I love that head. It's fabulous. You can take that head and put it on anything, and I have. Figures, that is. Even Cosmic, it works really well. It's fun.
Yeah.
Tibius. Yeah. It's just very unique to the figure line, and as soon as I just see those racing stripes on a skull, like I know exactly where it is and what it's from.
Wasn't that a last
Yeah,
edition
I
as well on the figure?
I was just gonna say that when they originally showed this figure, he came with a head, which I think was included, that doesn't have the racing stripes. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool figure. Then they put the racing stripes on him, and I was like, I love the figure. It was like game changer.
Yeah.
Yep.
First skeleton on the list. So, Chris, it's time for your number 10 pick.
Yep.
Oh, just sorry, I'm just gonna. So here we have a question from Jesse. Just mythics or both? This list is only for mythic legions.
Yes.
We're gonna make a top 10 for cosmic later on, but we'll let some more figures be released. So this list is for only mythic legions that have been released. Here we go, Chris, number 10.
Goblin Legion builder. Like I kind of touched on it in the beginning. You know, it was the aside from the two birds that I got, the Goblin Legion builder was my first Legion that I got, and just the goblins are so amazing. They're just, I don't know, they're fun, and
fun.
it's sad. I like the other 2.0s, but really when it comes down to it, it's the goblins. Those are really the only 2.0s that I really like, and I have out on display. But it's just, you know, even with just being a Legion builder, it's great.
And that is interesting that you have one of those, you know, considered one of the more simpler figures, you know, and it's so obvious on your top 10 of all the figures being released in the line. This, you know, your first figure is still on the top 10 list. I think that's cool.
Actually,
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
No. Sorry.
I was just going to quickly say I actually enjoyed putting this list together because it was confined to Mythic Legions. Before I've done top 10 lists before, but it's been like you're throwing them against Figura Obscura and you're throwing them against Cosmics and everything. And I just, you know, so a figure like this ends up on here because, you know, it's Mythic, and I think that's cool. Sorry, Chris, say what you were going to say, please.
No. My thought process behind it is I wanted to do specifically like what I own and what I've opened and what I've messed around with. I didn't want to just like go over, like, I didn't want to say like, you know, Otho is my favorite figure and I've never owned a Otho. So I kind of took that into consideration and really gave it some thought as to what I wanted to have on my list and the figures that have basically stayed within my collection, the ones that I have the most appreciation for. Like the birds, I didn't add them, but those two, they if it wasn't for some other figures, they would have been on the top 10 list.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love the Goblin Legion builder. It's a great choice. It's the figure that it launched like how many customs, right? Mm-hmm. Like I remember buying this when it was in the reinforcements ISS, and I think I got like, I don't even know, over a dozen of them, and they were going so fast.
Wow.
They're great. They're great, great figure itself, but great fodder. They have so much with them. I hope he comes back in some form. I mean, that Goblins pack, the new one, is really cool too. But this guy's classic. I love the classics.
This is the classic one. And I just have to agree with you, Chris and Steven said about picking the list, because when we decided to do a top 10, it was really like, okay, let's honestly start to just go through all the figures on Four Horsemen, you know, and then just pick out all of the ones that I felt like were up there somewhere, you know. And then it was like, okay, it was a qualifier. So I have like, I'm not going to go through them now, but it's like 12 figures on my honorary mention list that almost got it, you know, made the list. But I also went with figures that I own. Mm-hmm. My number 10 pick is Valak. And I think he is just a badass character, a badass figure. You could go into the route of talking about him, you know, being an amazing customizing for customizers, for using all these amazing new parts and all of that. And that is one part of it. But the character himself, I think is really, really cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
He was nearly on my list. He's a very good figure.
Very good.
Him.
Yeah, I had him on my list, and I took him off for a couple others. Like I made a couple changes, but he was on there.
I'm glad to hear that, because I didn't see him on your list, guys, and it was like, you really didn't like him, but now it feels better to have heard this. So that's the number 10 pick. I think it went, fairly smooth. Okay.
Yeah.
Or going for number 9 for you, Steven,
Yeah.
Mr. Pink, the Elf Ranger.
Classic mythical character, or not mythical, sword and sorcery character, D&D character. I love this version of him. I love his colors. He's just really cool. I don't know how he's, I like 2.0 figures, but I could have seen my list have no 2.0 figures on it, really.
Yeah.
But I got Thrace, and now I've got the Ranger because they deserve to be there.
I also think this is a great figure. I don't own him. I probably, if I had him on the shelf, I always liked how he looks. Yeah.
Well, I guess I know what I'm going to bring to LegionsCon then.
No, Chris, you are too awesome. I have to hold you back.
Well, whatever. You shouldn't have said anything.
I have 10 of these.
I have
10 of these, and it didn't make the list.
No, you don't.
I don't have any either.
I'll bring you a dog.
I've tried to get this in an in-stock sale in the past, but that's another story. Okay, let's move on. Everyone, feel free to just say whatever you want. Len, your number 9 is Sir Ignatius.
Sure. Come on, look at that pearlescent finish. It's beautiful, right? I think it's just beautiful for the paint job alone. I'm pretty excited for these to come in All-Stars, and to have like a ready amount of them available. I think it'll be a cool figure. It'll be like when Sir Owain came. He hung around a long time, but I don't think you're gonna find Sir Owains that easily anymore, even though we were all like staring at him for a while. And it's gonna be the same with him. He's gonna come soon, and then in 2 years we're gonna be like, they're all gone. He's a cool figure.
What I think is cool is there's a lot of people out there that have never seen him in person, and they're going to, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
The only time that I've ever seen this guy, and when I do see him, is when I get invited over to Joe's house, and he's let me hold it. I've got to see it, and it is like you're right, Lynn. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful figure.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for him to come out in mass. It should be really neat once everyone starts to get a hold of him.
Mm-hmm.
Also interesting that you're picking the old classics being on the top 10. I think that's it's very interesting,
Well, it takes an old classic to know an old classic.
Oh,
Len's kicking it old school.
So, going to Chris, number 9 pick. The Skeleton Legion Builder.
Yeah.
Classic.
It was like, and that lot that I bought, that I had mentioned earlier from that convention or during the live stream thing, I got 1 or 2 of the Skeleton Legion builders and playing around with them. And then it was like months later when I really started doing like the pop and swap part. And I still have like, what a lot of people did is take a skeleton, take a Templar Knight, and put it together and make a skeleton Templar. So for me, that, it's so versatile. If you want to like pop it around, and you can take for the most part, any figure and turn it into a skeleton. And, being a bonehead, I really enjoy it. It's one of my, at the base, while it's a Legion builder, it's versatile, and I really, really like that.
Yeah. This is the one figure that my very first figure is. My very first figure that got me, like I ordered 4 from I found Chrono online, but he wasn't pre-order. I was like, what's a pre-order? I didn't even know that. I bought this one from 4 skeletons from a seller in France, got them home, and realized that every time I passed where it was, every other now and then I was like reposing it. It's like, what is so special with this figure that makes me not just put it on the shelf. So that was like
Yeah.
triggered everything for me when starting to collect Legions.
Well, it's like for me too. Like I haven't in a while. I want to get back into it, but I play video games and like Skyrim and Diablo and things like that. So it's like when you're playing Skyrim and you're going through some of the burrows, you're going to fight skeletons. So it's like just another thing that I can pull from. And like, you're right too. Like there was times where I was like reposing him, just trying to make him look like he's dragging his sword, or just other times trying to put him in like in a dynamic pose. And they're just a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
Comment
it's a great
from
one. The
Tomato.
bone color on this one is great. This is like what I think you really want. Like, you know, if
Mhm.
you're making your pop and swap skeleton, and you know, it has a very realistic, almost so to say, like color palette to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still very different from the newest one that we're getting, the new standard bone color.
Yeah.
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 So my number 9 pick, Vorgus Vermilius, the first
Nice.
one.
The first
Version
one,
one.
he says.
The 1.0 version. And I know we're looking at this and we're looking at the skeleton and Sir Ignatius. It's pretty much the same parts, you know. And still I'm looking at all the figures in my, that I have on display, and every time I look at this one, there is power here. He feels so powerful. And that feeling hasn't left me. I have him display now unhelmeted, like I'm using the judge, his head like a pale vampire, and the helmet underneath his arm. Yeah, that's it.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's a very powerful figure. The paint job
Oh,
just
yeah.
lends itself to this like mystery, right? Like you're driven to read the bio on this guy. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone that would gotten him wouldn't read like what's so special about this guy, because it makes you want to do that.
For sure. Like this, like even like the pose that it's in, it's just an ecstatic pose, and it just looks intimidating. And like what you just said, like with the bio too, like the bio is like next level with this guy, like in comparison to, like, not saying like all the other bios are bad or not written well, but like this one in particular is just so good. And it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And this is, the picture of this, it comes from another era. It's just like the Elf Ranger photo. It's pre-Trevor.
Yeah.
So everything that's pre-Trevor is not as cool as post-Trevor.
I was gonna say these were the good old days.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
All new photos that Trevor is taking, it's so much fun putting together something when you can use great photos, and up until Elithia, we had all of his poses, but after post Elithia, then it goes into Trevor 2.0 stage when he is taking the dynamic poses, and it's like like you're dreaming of going back to get dynamic poses on all of these old ones. So yeah. So you reacted, Stephen, to that it was the first version and not the second version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
I considered putting the second version on my list, but I did not.
Yeah. I have a confession. It's like I played with the second version at Legions Con, but the one that I brought home I haven't opened. Let's move on with the list. So, Stephen, your number 8.
Yeah. Dubon, man. Enough said. He's not on your list. You better re-examine, because he's the baddest.
Yes.
Awesome colors, awesome bird, awesome beard, awesome soft good cape. Who doesn't love him? Make him better by putting him on top of his horse. And there it is. That's what's best in life.
I agree with you. He just missed my list, but he was on there for a while, actually. I think it's all amazing.
Yeah.
And then like the hand pack with him too, basically. Like what you get. Like,
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah. Awesome figure.
Totally agree. That's Valak and him are very similar, I would say. You know, in many, many aspects.
As different as they are, they're very similar. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny, you know? Yeah.
They got birds.
Birds.
Yeah, that's the only
Birds.
thing. They have birds, both of them.
Hoods and birds.
Birds.
So, Len, your number 8 pick. Asterion.
Ooh.
Oh, classic.
It's a classic list, man.
Of course it
Has
is.
all three of his been in 1.0 figures so far?
I don't know.
I forget.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at you.
Yeah, this guy's awesome. Just tell me he's not. I dare you to.
I won't tell you he's not. What I remember being so impressed with when I got this in hand was how they did the neck, and they did the color fade into the head, made it with that neck piece. I thought it was genius. Still do think it was genius.
It's an absolute beautiful figure. I hope that one day I can actually get my hands on this. I've never owned that one yet, and it's great. So yet again, when I go to Joe's house, it's one of the ones that I really like. I'm drawn to, and I just like drool. Try not to drool on it. It's great.
It
Always surprises
is.
me that it never all starred, but
Don't you think that, or hope that he will come as a 2.0 version? I mean, second version, like in brute scale.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Bruce, I guess I never thought about upscaling him.
I just
Because
didn't
just-
want it to be too different from this. Like I would upscale, but I'd still like to see the same paints, the same general look. I don't want it to be like over the top,
Right.
like just, that's personal. Like some people like that, but I mean, a brute scale would be cool. You would need some brute hooves to pull that off in the coming. So hopefully that's something that'd be cool. But,
He's a pretty big character, and like you said, he hasn't been up for All Stars.
His parts fit on the brute scale. You can put the hooves on the brute scale, and you can put that neck thing. I've done it just to screw around with it, and that head. So if it doesn't look too small because the brute scale's not that much bigger. So if you want to, he's generally just taller. You can kind of pop and swap, and then you'd have to obviously paint the body to match if you wanted to do it. But it can be done.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Chris, number 8. Faunus.
Faunus. Yeah, ever since that I've first seen this figure, like I've been drawn to it from the beginning, and it was one that I really wanted in my collection for like the longest time, and now thankfully I think I have 2, and it's phenomenal. I love the way it looks. To me, it's one of the most unique figures, like the looking figures within Mythic Legions, and with him being like a forest elemental, I hope that down the road at some point we can start seeing like other elementals into the line, and maybe even other forest elementals, and it's an amazing looking figure. To me there's nothing else that even comes close to the uniqueness that he brings into the line.
Yeah, I would like to see like another character like him, but with his face grows a different way or something, but still pretty cool.
Or like maybe a female 2.0 version.
Yeah, like I would
That'd
be
be
totally
cool.
okay with that too.
Yeah. Your list is great, Chris. I love it. I could like steal it because I loved every pick you had so far. He's awesome. It's such a unique head and sculpt that you can't ignore it. Go ahead, Emil. You're chomping.
Yeah,
at the
both
bit.
of you are going pretty classic, So that's you're combined there so far. So I see it. I don't. Faunus is one of those characters that I still don't know what I think of. So it's I love seeing him on your list because I still don't know what I think about him. I know actually when I think about it when I played around with it at your place, Stephen, because it's really then you actually you get the feeling for him.
Yeah.
I still don't know, even though I just said that sentence. It's cool to hear.
Well, it's kind of like all basic parts, and like if you take away the head, it's almost like a silver horn sentry almost.
Yeah.
But that head, it's like the custom that Jeremy did a long time ago, where he did like the shadow version of it, or like the ash version of it, like an evil style. It's I don't know. I love that. I'd like to see like an evil version of this, like he was corrupted and like became evil. I don't know. I love it. It's great.
I hear you. More elementals to the people. Let's say my number 8 is Sir Gerard. I just want to say that it's still I ever since I saw him the first time, it's an excellent mix of parts. That when these pauldrons came and that waist piece they were on the red shield soldier, I was never really a big fan of that torso because it felt too slim. And when I saw the pauldrons and the waist piece on this character, it's like, that's it. I and of course I'm a big sucker for black and red.
Yeah.
There we go.
Black and red is always cool.
It always is.
Yep.
Great figure.
One of the cooler tribute figures that have ever been done.
I think this is one of the absolute coolest Legions Con figures as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
The coolest.
I actually think it might be the coolest Legions Con.
I still need to open mine.
Oh,
What?
and when you open it, you might need a second. Third. Come on, Chris. This is.
I have the Legions Con one in the box, and I never opened
You
it.
didn't get the standard one?
No.
Oh.
I just have the one, and I haven't opened it. I haven't come to terms with opening it.
Yeah. So the sad thing for me was that I got a few, and I started using the waist piece for other customs and stuff. So it's like I'm looking at my shelf, like, oh, I must make sure that I have one complete there because I love it.
I bought so many of the standards of him, and I have one left because I ripped them all apart. They're all in pieces for like pop and swaps, and I have the convention one in box, and I have the standard in box, but the other standards I bought are all like they're all in pieces.
Yeah. So 7th place on Steven's list is Arakagor.
Maybe he should have been higher, but that's what I did, and that one of the best paint jobs in the whole line. One of the coolest parts combinations. He's really, 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 really cool. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, he's a showstopper. Like when we do shows and we have him on display, he draws attention. People come and they want to see him. Like he's awesome. The paint is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. To touch on that too, like when we were at when I was with Ish and Ryan and Jordan and Van at Heroes Con last month, he was one of the figures that we had out open, and we would hand out to people that wasn't familiar with the line. They're like, "Hey, go ahead and mess around with this, see what you think." And soon after that, it was like, they were picking up him and like a couple other figures. So he's an amazing looking figure. Like the head, like close, the closest we've come so far to having a dragon in the line. He just looks great.
Everyone's always asking for a dragon. Here you go.
Mhm. Yep.
We're done.
I remember seeing this at G-Con just before it was gonna be displayed on camera, or and it was put on the table ready to be shown, or if it was just after it had been shown on camera. I sneaked up to the table and was just sitting there as quiet as a mouse so it wouldn't be picked up on the camera or anything, and just stared at this in awe, like it was such a beautiful piece.
Didn't somebody take a picture of that?
Is the Wiz. He took a photo and posted it the day after, like, I wish a woman would look at me the way Emil look at the Rakagor. And I was like, yeah, it's a beautiful figure. Len, your 7th place. Let's see if it continues with the classics or Thistlethorn.
Early classic?
Is that classic? Or is
I
classic
mean,
only pre?
you're doing you're doing Kickstarter Advent of Decay. I think that's classic enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say anything about him. Come on. It's Thistlethorn.
Okay,
The
that's
popularity of this figure. It's kind of funny because I thought he was fun when we got him, but I never really put too much weight on this figure. But there is, and I don't know if it's just Jesse that makes me feel his enthusiasm that makes me think it's more popular than it is, but it seems like he has grown in popularity over the years.
Yeah, he's getting legendary status.
Yeah, the head sculpt is incredible because it just has that look to it that no matter what pose you put him in, like I've seen people take so many different shots of him in their setups and dios or whatever, and it just fits the scene. Either he's sneaking around a corner, he's pissed off because someone stole his lunch. He's like, it's just like that face can, for some reason, it just blends in with whatever scene you're putting him with to match the motion. It's really cool.
Yeah.
He's an absolute, like, I like his, like, to even go into like the bio too, like the bio about him, like he's like a, I think he was like collects like relics and artifacts and stuff like that. And, just thinking about that, like a little chipmunk, esque figure character running around Mythos and collecting different things and bringing them back, it's like stuffing them into like his cheeks and like, running back. I don't know. It's just, I think he's absolutely great. He's such a fun little figure.
Yeah. I think I must say that he has grown on me, like I've never been a fan of him, but the more pictures I've seen with people taking photos of him, and it's like, yeah, I like him. It's like so
Okay.
on the 7th place for Chris is
Look at that.
Thistlethorn.
Look at you guys.
Do you want to say something more?
No, like, we don't have to. Like it like he said, like it's a great little fun character to just blend in anything, and that's one of the things that I really like about him. Like he fits in, and he's one of the ones that you could take with you on a trip and like just take shots. And I think no matter what, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think Len likes your list a lot still.
I told you.
I think except for his own, I think your list is what he is looking for. My 7th place. Okay. No, wait. Why would you say something hurtful? Did I?
You hurt Jesse's feelings.
No, but didn't I say that he's grown on me?
I don't know.
If I come from a dark place and go into the light, would you say that I'm hurtful, or would you say that welcome to the light, Emil, of liking this little? But you still can. Yes, but yeah, I don't even know if I said something that would make you happy or less. My 7th place is not Thistlethorn; it's Poxus.
Ooh, the Pox.
Poxus, when the Poxus wave was revealed, he, he did not fail. You know, when I got him, I might have ordered too many of him because, but he is brilliant, and I think he is just excellent in every possible way. What made me even more happy when I got it was the quality of the soft goods. For example, he's a great, disgusting god of pox. Tox. Yeah, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's my word.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a beautiful figure. I mean, it's from top to bottom. The design flows. It every piece is like really well thought out. It's not like there's something really odd. Just beautiful. Like parts were made where they needed to be done, and it's gorgeous. The wings, like just the wings, have a beautiful translucent honey look to them. He's really nice.
Like just like even like he's one of the more interesting figures to me, like in the line. And then like you have like what's showed there, his bow, and then you have the one that's like activated when he's gonna shoot that the arrow, and he's just he's just great.
Yeah.
My favorite of the Dark Four.
Oh. So let's see where he fits on everyone else's list. We're almost halfway. Going to.
So, do you mind,
Yeah.
Emil, if since we're halfway, I'd ask the audience if they would share their top tens, and we won't spend a lot of time, but I'll just share one right now because we got some returns. So now we're at the halfway point.
Just do it.
Jesse, his 10 is the Goblin Legion builder. 9 is Lord Bardrick. 8 is Borrier. 7 is Cowros. 6 is Myra Goldenbranch. 5 is Queen Urska. 4 is
Ursa.
Morgulith. 3 is Snag. 2 is Artemis.
Artemis 2, I think,
2,
right?
yes, you're right, because that's not 21. Or maybe he's making Thistlethorn 21, and he forgot his number 1. That's kind of low for Thistlethorn for Jesse. It doesn't really track, so I'm guessing that he means 1. So Thistlethorn's number 1. Jesse, thank you for sharing that with us, my friend.
A lot of great
It's a
figures
great
there.
list. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You want to share
Fellow-
something?
Fellow
Can we do
fan
another
of
one?
Myria Goldenbranch.
Okay, I'll do another one. Keith Holven says that his number 10 is Aza version 1. Joran, Rune Shaper, that's a great choice. I love that figure. Nox, Shadow Elf Ranger.
Gonks, maybe?
Gonks, Nonks. Oh, I'm sorry, I got the fantasy word wrong. Deluxe Goblin Legion builder. 5 is Thrace. 4 is Krotos. 3 is Snag. 2 is Thistlethorn, and 1 is Arakagar. So great list. I mean, a lot of stuff that we see on our list, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. I'll do the other ones later.
Yeah. Let's.
And again, if anyone else didn't give one and you want to, just put it up there in the chat for me, and I'll start it, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is a lot of fun to see what everyone else is picking. When we do the rankings, we are trying to do something that fits everyone, and but doing it this way for the top 10, it's really like our lists are so far, well, very different, I would say. So going on sixth, those TH sounds, sixth. I need 4 days in the US before I pronounce those okay. The sixth.
Oh, but I'm supposed to know
place.
Canucks.
Steven, Lord Bushati.
Oh, look.
I mean, look at that.
Look at that guy.
It's red and black. He's got my favorite torso. He's a Mercurian, and I love the Mercurians. Everybody know, I've always, I love my Vetuses, my Romuluses, and I love my Lord Bushatis. Come on. And he's based off a real guy that's pretty sweet, I hear.
From who? From who have you heard that he is pretty sweet?
My mom.
Yeah. your mom is sweet as well. So.
I think he's underappreciated because he's part of a 2-pack that's kind of really a 4-pack, and you think he gets thrown into the mix a little bit. But you know what? He deserves a little bit more love. So there you go.
Well, I can tell you what, like, I really do appreciate it, and I have one right up here that's like hanging out with a little puppy, and I just, I appreciate it too. It's one of the only figures that you can kind of see right now, and I wanted to make sure that I had, the Lord's presence with what he loves, and it's great. He's, just hanging out. He's got this little puppy, and
He's got a puppy.
He's got the little hand on the back of the head, and he's just having a good time with the little puppy, making sure he's okay, and trying to make his paw go somewhere that I won't talk about too much anymore.
Oh,
well.
Honestly, Steven, I think this is a really cool character as well. So I think he is a badass Mercurian. Yes.
I think the only negative I can think of with this figure is that it doesn't display the hair. Like, there's no hair. If you're going to do a tribute, how do you not tribute the most known attribute of this man? That's my take. Sorry.
So what head, Len, what head of currently existing figures at this time would you have chosen to represent the Lord's hair?
I don't know. Who do we have that has like a really nice head of hair? Do we have it? I don't know.
I don't think anybody out.
No.
I mean,
the second version of what is his name? Atlas has hair, right?
Attila, you mean?
Yeah. Is that who? Yeah, Attila with Gorgo.
Yeah, he has some
2-pack.
cool hair.
Yeah, he's got some nice hair.
And Magnus has good hair.
It's okay hair. I think Attila.
But it's,
Yeah.
Anyway, I still wish I had hair.
We need the volume. We need somebody with volume.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, someone saying Deltagar, maybe?
Yeah.
Deltagar.
I'm so sorry. I don't. It's almost like I don't know why I'm laughing, or maybe I do.
Deltagar is an awesome figure.
Yeah, sorry. Now I see Deltagar's head as like, so that's the Lord's unhelmeted. Sorry, I have Deltagar. I'm displaying him with a Mercurian head helmet, but
yeah,
and just it's sorry that I laughed too hard.
I agree with Joe Gonzalez that Gideon Heavensbrand has a pretty looks like he's got a pretty cool head of hair.
Yeah, that's true too.
Joe, when you're saying about Gideon, you are talking about the second
one.
version.
Yeah.
That's we are not including the not yet released figures on this list. The list would be way different because the latest waves have been just incredible. But here we are now. Len, your 6th place.
There we go.
Oh, well,
What else can you say? I think you said it all.
Another twinsies. We all love them.
Yep.
I'm glad we share something on our list, Len. Let's see if Chris also have Sir Gerard listed. Oh, no. Romulus.
Another Mercurian.
Feel free, Chris. It's just lost for now.
Chris froze. Oh, there he is.
No, you're back.
He moved. Are you back?
Do you hear us, Chris?
Are you there, Chris? Do you have to?
I can see you move, but I can't.
We can't.
Oh yeah, now we hear you.
He might be on delay.
He might be in a time zone.
We hear you. Do you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I guess that's me. is what's happening.
Oh yeah, this is your
Yes.
figure.
Yeah, because I keep getting here, like in the last couple minutes, I keep getting buffering, and it buffers everybody, and then it comes back, and it's
Okay,
sorry about that.
could it? But you're up to speed right now, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Romulus. Yeah, like again, just sword and sandals. He was one of the first ones that early on that I was really, really drawn to, and he's just a beautiful, beautiful looking figure, and it's it reminds me of like gladiatorial fights, like I said earlier, like watching Gladiator, and he's just I don't know. I love everything about this figure. His bio again, I like that's part of it. That's part of the other choices that I went with is the bios, and I hope eventually that we find out what happened to his brother, and I can't wait to see what happens. But this is to me, it's a beautiful figure.
Yep.
I agree. When he was included in the All Star, I was more than happy to finally get to add him to my collection. With that, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have a confession to make.
You haven't opened yours.
No, of course I've opened. This is one of my favorite figures. I was putting this on my list, and then I was like, I love this figure, and I was like, if I'm putting a Mercurian on the list, it's going to be Lord Bishotti because So that's
So he was
he's only not there because I wasn't going to put another Mercurian ahead of myself.
That's fair.
But you think that he is better than yourself? Is that it?
I didn't say that.
I'm just trying to
Who would win in a
interpret.
fight?
Language barrier is tricky.
Who would win in a fight? According to the bios, probably him, because I think I've always said that the Furious Four is the comic relief of Mythos. So
Yeah, they probably wouldn't win, but they, we can always pretend.
we'd never win, but some people would always show up on Sunday morning to watch us fight.
Yeah, maybe you should wear like wrestling clothes and stuff like that as well. So it's like you can actually, for visual, what do you say, visual aid to see like, yeah, are they friendly or fighting, or it's like wardrobe change. Okay. So I'm glad that we're going from the 6th places now. Ilithia.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I ranked her higher than Poxus. She is I think she's beautiful and she's scary. And something about that intrigues me with this figure. Like, she's so powerful. It's almost like I want to like, oh, you're so beautiful and I'm afraid of you. And it's like, she is so great. She's so great. That's what I want to say.
I like this figure. The only thing I have a negative about this figure is she's hard to play with. She's hard to pose. Because of all the stuff on her.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah.
she's a figure that I've posed on her horse and I haven't touched since I put her up there. Because of that purpose. Or because of that reason. I'm sorry. So
that is a good point.
Downfall.
I hear you, and I actually agree on that. That's a figure that I haven't posed either since I put her on the horse and just stay there. But I also love, this was the way when we had wired soft goods actually coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was some of the first.
So, beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I actually ended up just selling the one that I had. I never opened her, and I made that decision that I hadn't opened her. I even sold Phobos too, just because like a lot of people right. A lot of the collectors, like, one of the biggest things is space, and that's one of the things with me. So, I do appreciate her. I think she's great and amazing looking, but I think at the time it's just now's not the right time, and later If I have to pay a little bit more, that'll be fine. If I actually want her, then I will. So, but for right now, I'm good.
Yep. Hear you. So moving on. Now we're halfway. 5th place for Steven. Who would have guessed? Juno.
Juno's always going to be on my list.
I almost thought you were gonna have her at the top. This was, interesting. We all knew you would have her, but for those who don't know, tell us, Steven, what's so great about Juno?
She's the Crusher, man. Dude, I'm a Masters of the Universe fan, and she's got a little furry loincloth, and she's got a lot of skin showing, and she's redheaded, and she's fierce, and she's got a cool blue tattoo, and I like her story. Her weird... She's like the only human in Arethyr. Come on, I don't know. She's just cool, and I think that she needs to be recognized.
Yeah.
The question is, can she lift that hammer?
I always give her a different hammer, a smaller one. Because she's still the Crusher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I also think she's great. I don't have her, but I think she's great. What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I think she's awesome. Like, again, like the 2.0s, like I like her look. Right before LegionsCon last year through Empire Toys, they did like a mystery box, and she was actually one of the ones that I got, and I considered bringing her with me to either to in the fodder swap or to like potentially even like trade her, and I decided to keep her back. And then when we saw Neve, I was done. I haven't even considered moving Juno for trade sale. I can't wait to have her with Neve. Like, that's how I'm going to have them displayed, just together. I think she's beautiful.
Good call. Good call.
Nice. Let's move on.
Len's 5th place is Thord.
Sure.
Ironjaw.
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why?
I'll tell you why not.
What?
Tell him, Steven. Tell
Tell
him.
me, Steve.
I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that's come out since him, so why would you pick him?
I don't know. He's just cool. Like the blue accents. Red
The blue
beard.
accents are nice.
Grumpy. He's dwarf. Horns. Things. It's good.
Now you got him quite a bit later, right? And didn't you, Len? Didn't you isn't this one you hunted down?
Yeah, probably. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
I'd go with that.
I mean, Thord is super popular. Everybody wants him. He's cool.
Yeah.
That head would be fun to do some cool customs with. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you thinking? What do you
A
think?
lot of things.
Turn it into a invisible woman?
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's move
All
on.
right.
So, Chris, your 5th place is Snag.
Yeah, the goat.
Yep. It again, going back to the goblins, like out of the goblins, aside from the Goblin Legion builder, Stag is by far my absolute favorite one out of them. He's just, I love the look, his mischievous grin that he has is just, I don't know, he's fun. To me, he's just as fun as Thistlethorn. Like, you could have him wherever and like peeking around a corner or something like that, and it would just be, to me, he's in that aspect with like the photos. If you're going to do that anywhere, he's very toyetic, and I really like that about him.
You could pretty much put him anywhere in your house, and they would just like, yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
Agreed. My favorite
Like, a
goblin.
couple years ago, I did a like a Christmas little display on one of my shelves, and I had him peeking around like the Christmas tree with like a little ornament he was holding in his hand, and it just works. It almost whatever you do with him, it just works.
Early on, when I was getting a couple of lots of figures, I got a lot of goblins because I thought I would love them. I didn't get the feeling, and then I couldn't keep everything, so I sold them all away. And except for Gongs, I think. Nubnik. Yeah, okay. Anyway, Snag. He might be the number one goblin.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So my fifth pick is Thrace. I put her up this a lot higher on the list. You know, when you're unpacking a new wave of figures, and some of them are like you don't feel too attached to. This one I opened up early on, and it was just I love everything about her. I love she's a great character. Love the bio as well, but the character, the design of the character, all her parts and the soft goods together with her amazing head. You know, that sculpt is fantastic. Both of the sculpts are fantastic. That's Thrace for me.
Yeah. It's
She
a
was
great figure.
easy. She was easy to put on the list.
I mean, really, like overall minimal paint too on her, right? I mean, it's not like she's got tons of paint app, but it works. It works so great the way it is.
Yeah. So we've already talked about her, but it's like, yeah, she's way up. Do you want to share some more lists before we move on?
Sure, I can do
Later.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Jeff Evans comes in with now he had to update because he didn't realize that we were doing only released, so he did an update. 10 vampire phalanx. Am I saying that right? Phalanx. Great figure again. 9 Sir Gerard, who's been on our list. 8 Baron Volagar 2. 7 Lord Bardrick. 6 Lord Dragul. 5 Krotos. 4 Disabilis. 3 Xenothon. That's pretty high for Xenothon.
That is. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And that is a great figure. Xenothon's a lot. He's got a lot. I think that's one we're coming to appreciate more like later. You know, he comes with so much cool stuff.
Because he is not high on my list in any list.
No, I'm saying that he's not. I think it's something like in another year, like once you get like more of them out there, people start ripping them apart. Like he's got a lot of good stuff going on. Yeah. He's a fun figure. 2 Arakagar, and number 1 is Vorgus Vermilius 2.
A lot of cool figures on this list. I like this list, Jeff.
Yeah,
a lot.
Sure.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll do one more. Rob Zamora. Let's see his my top 10. 3 Sir Gerard. Wait, what am I? Is this? Am I reading? Am I having a stroke? 3 Sir Gerard. 2 Vorgus version 1, 1 Sir Gerard. So Rob likes Sir Gerard.
Looks like it.
Okay. I'll do another one there since I was confused on that one. Curb is saying number 1 Krotos. Warrior.
Krotos the Fresh Maker?
He's giving them names. I'll do the names. Number 1,
sorry.
Krotos the Fresh Maker. Number 2, Ultimate Warrior. Number 3, Stinky Boy Mephidor. Goblin Legion Builder. Numnick, Thump, Bog Goblin, Snag, Swig, and King Noglin. So he went in reverse order there, folks. Sorry about that.
Looks like he is a goblin liker.
Yeah.
Liker of goblins.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to say what Jesse is writing a note to self: make pale goth chicks for custom to entice Emil. I guess both Thrace and Lithia is on that list, and Lucretia is one of them as well. I wouldn't say that I'm into goth chicks, but because I'm married. End of sentence. Okay, moving on. But anyway, no, just okay. So moving on to the 4th place of Steven's top list. Moving on to Attila version 2.
Absolutely. Killed this version 2. One of the first version 2s we've gotten. Or was it the first 2? Version 2? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
probably
so.
was. I love it.
Artemis too.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote-
I love
Oh,
that
right.
hammer. I love the ability for him to turn his head, and I love his helmetless head. And I don't know, there's just a lot of wires in those clothes. So, how do you not love that thing?
Yeah. Shout out to Trevor for this amazing photo as well. He looks just as powerful as he's meant to be. I love that unhelmeted head as well. That's one of my favorite male head sculpts, and I almost opened a 2-pack just to bring out that head, but I've already used. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I already used the unhelmeted head from my open heads pack, so it's like. What do you think, Chris? What do you think?
It's one of the ones that I really appreciate. I really like the detail that has gone into like the helmeted head, the pauldrons, the new hammer. Unfortunately, it is one of the ones that I still don't have out. I took out Gorgo, but I left Attila inside the box. So I still need to get him out and actually mess with him to full on appreciate him. So, but he looks great. And like you said, the unhelmeted head, it just looks great on anything. It's great.
Yeah. Len,
Yes.
your 4th pick.
What is it? Show me. Yes.
Asa.
Yes. It's a great.
Fully
figure.
support this.
You can say something about it as well.
It's a great
Yes.
figure.
Yes.
Right? I mean, totally different vibe. Reuse of parts, common parts for the 2.0 at the time. Just looks totally different than anything else. Cool tattoos, cool skin. It's blue. Come on.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's it. Let's go. Next one.
She's really gone from my not interested till I really like her, since we did the talk about Basilia some time ago. 4th place, Chris, is the Barbarian
Oh,
Builder,
yeah.
the original
Nice.
one.
Very good.
Yeah. I had to have him on the list, and it's just great. The parts, everything about him, everybody knows that has one. If you don't have one, get one. It's just an absolute fantastic figure. It's like the embodiment of what is Mythic Legions and what Four Horsemen was, trying to provide us. It's just not much else you can really say on it. It's great.
I'm so glad you put it on your list.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
I didn't
and
include a barbarian person on it.
Good move.
That's a great figure.
He is.
Absolutely a great pick, and I think I'm using my last Barbarian Builder soon.
You know what I
Anyway.
always said is that if I could have one figure to like gift someone that doesn't know what the line is or about or anything, this is the one. This is the one. I know Jeremy stole that saying from me because he says it all the time, but I said it first.
Yeah, you should have copyrighted it. Thing is, with the new torsos, when we got the Egyptian gods, the torsos are slightly smaller because of they need articulations and things like that. So these first versions of the bare torsos, we're still gonna see them, and because I like that they're so much bulkier, Love these.
Yep.
My 4th pick is, and I'm gonna say something because I had the Wasteland figures in hand. I think could it be in hand that I had, and I had Purplor, or I had it on the way or something. And when I saw Belphegor, I was like, it's just Purplor, It's a repainted Purplor. Most of the parts were similar to Purplor. In my head, that is what I thought. So I think I ordered, just one and he wasn't that interesting. And now I'm putting him up on the list. And if I actually have him here, because if I would be get to include the wings, I think he might be on the top. He might be at the top of the list for me, because with the wings, there's something extremely powerful with his presence, and it's yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. He's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with or without the wings. Like the wings just amplifies it even more. But even this, it's just he looks amazing.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Moving on to third
Moving
place.
to the top 3. Let's do this.
Top 3.
Steven.
Everybody
Magnus.
knew it was probably going to happen. Magnus is going to be on my list. He's a badass. Look at him. I don't know what to say. There's nothing to say. If you don't like him, turn the show off right now. Just shut
I thought it was
just shut her
pronounced
down.
awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is extremely powerful.
Yep. He oozes masculinity. Look at him.
Yeah. And this photo is not, because I remember, I think Trevor was there. He was not taking these photos, but he was there during the reveal. So I remember seeing one of, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right, that Trevor had a camera and he was there as a guest on the show when the reveals were. And he snapped the photo of Magnus on the desk. And it didn't feel like this at all. He had a totally other feeling to it, and it felt, so much cooler. And that photo is what got me to be like, I think I need to order extra Magnuses. And I'm not disappointed that I did.
Yeah. Best head in the line, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's definitely among the best. It's not the best, but it's definitely up there.
It's
I
the
think.
best.
Ooh.
The best.
Fight.
Ooh. Of all of the heads?
It's the most versatile. I mean, if you need a human head, that's the one to go to. You throw that thing on anything. Looks great.
True.
I actually been thinking about shaving him to see if that works. Anyway, that's another story.
He probably has like a real weak chin. He's all like, he's growing the beard to hide it. It's like all
Top
stacked
3,
up.
Len LaGuardia.
Yeah,
is
show me. What is it?
Scapular.
Oh, the king.
You keep him to a classic list.
This guy's the GOAT, man. Come on.
I think that we all knew that this guy was going to be on Len's list.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's awesome.
Just classic look, everything about him. So
You know
good.
what I think I was most excited about when he first came out was his shield.
Oh, the shield's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
The shield's so cool. It's got that like little bit of antiquing to it, right? Like it's dirty. It's not perfect. It's so cool.
Right.
It's got the red stars on it, which it should have. You know, he's a great figure. Classic head. That up until Sir Gerard, you couldn't get anywhere else besides him. So it's really
Right.
cool. Great helmet.
Yeah.
He's got a cool hat.
Cool hat. That's what you say. Yeah, it's a hat.
That's what I say.
and he's got
It was a tough
hat.
decision for me. Like I almost had him on my list, and I kept going back and forth, and like he's still such a great figure. It's one of the ones that I really love, but he didn't quite make it.
The only thing that has ruined this figure for me is the knowledge of the 2.0 one coming.
Oh no. I'm leaving. You can give me a 2.0 with him. You can give me a 3.0. Give me a 5.0. This is the classic. You can give him a sword. You can give him a flute. You can give him whatever you want. This is the classic right here.
Give him a bone flute.
Uh huh.
You definitely have a classic list, Len. You can see the list. Oh, Sir Gerard is there. Otherwise, it's a pretty classic.
I'm a classy guy.
I know you are.
Maybe you
It was
didn't
not meant
notice
as an
my fan.
insult. It was like more like you're classic and classy.
All right.
Chris, your third place is Ilgar.
Ilgar. Yeah, going back to the beginning again, when I first was going through the lists and seeing the skeletons, Ilgar was one of the ones that I wanted for a really, really long time. And then by the way of by the All Stars, like I was able to get him and add him to the collection, and that's why he's like my third. He's one of the top skeletons that I absolutely love. Like, everything about it, the unique bone color, the verdigris on the armor. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's great. It's beautiful. I love it.
So
Yeah, he's one of my favorites, more favorite ones. I just bought him at LegionsCon. They had him out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple. I looked at him under the light and I saw all his cool things, and I'm like, I'm buying one. Just because I looked at it and was like, I gotta have it. I don't know why I had to have another one. There's no reason to have another one, but I picked him up. So he is very cool.
So, should I say that I haven't opened mine?
You can say whatever you want here. It's a safe spot.
I have.
You
It's
can
a
say
safe spot.
It'll be nicer than what I have to say.
I'm not a fan. But
Yeah,
but I can see why it is cool.
Chris, I love you. You're like one of my favorite people in the Mythic community, but it must be really hot down there.
Yes,
This guy's not top 3.
It really is. It's top 3 of all the Legions figures ever released. That's interesting to have him here. I love it.
I respect you, my friend, but I don't know.
Like I said in the beginning, I went based off of ones that I've actually opened and I've spent some time with, and he was one of the, like, sometimes like I'll let him sit. Like, for an example, the Bastet and Anubis. I haven't opened them. I got them, but I haven't opened them yet. I don't even think I've opened one figure from Poxus yet.
Oh,
I just let them sit for a little bit, and it'll come a time where it's like, I'll go ahead and I'll bust through. I'll take a day and then I'll go through it. I know some people, like, when they get them, it's like Christmas. It is for me, but it's more of like, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to, wait for a little bit. And then if I really come across, like that feeling that I want to open it, then I'll go. Ilgar wasn't. As soon as I got it, he was the first one that I opened. And I ended up getting a second one, so that way I can throw the additional head on. And
the dwarf head.
Yeah.
No, the patina is really awesome. Like, his arm is very cool. I love the paint on it. I agree with. I'm just kind of busting on you.
Hopefully that'll change in a little bit.
All right, we shall see. But like you said, I haven't opened all the figures that I got either.
Oh, yeah, we're all guilty of that.
So it's like
it's not open.
Yeah. So my third place is Brother Mandibulus.
Nice.
And I keep, every time someone asks me, I keep saying that this is my favorite. And if we would do this show next week, maybe I would put him up on in the top, because he definitely is there. But at the time of putting this together, it was like, not at this moment. I have to put him at top 3. But I love him. The skirt pieces, this emblem, and that helmet. Like I said, the helmet is something that I would feel like, is that cool or not? But seeing all of this together, it's like, this is badass. Love it 100%. Of course, otherwise I wouldn't have it up here. And it's one of the figures that I got early, one of the figures that I had an extra of, and sold to Tomas when I got him into collecting Legions. It's like, you need this one, you need this one, you need Pixis. It's like, almost. So you like him or you hate him?
Love him.
Yeah.
I love him too.
I like him. You know what my problem is? I'm weird. I hold a grudge. So he's the only figure I ever bought off of eBay, and I think the seller broke the leg and just put him back.
No.
And when I took him out, like, I went to pose him, and his leg broke at the hip. And they don't often break at the hip. That's not like a normal, like, easy break. And I was so mad, I just put him back in the box, and I didn't want to look at him again. I got so pissed off. And I just hold that grudge against him. But I do love him. I've come to love him. He's a great figure.
Yeah. And
At the time that he came out, Advent of Decay, he was next level,
Oh yeah.
and he still holds up today. So,
He
so
does.
he's great.
Yeah.
something serious here about Eric Miller. Broman is the most overrated figure in the line by far. You know, I love you, Eric. As a dear friend, this might be the thing that we are most disagreeing about. Isn't that pretty silly? If that is the most, the highest level of disagreeing, then we're pretty good friends still, right? but you're wrong. He's not overrated. He's, don't say that.
I find it funny that it's coming from the person that has skeletons on their nightstand, but yet this one's the most overrated one. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear an hour of your podcast, Eric, where you defend this decision without saying something mean about me. Okay, because we're not gonna go offending each other. Let's move on. We have the top two. Do we have something more to share?
Top two. I think I have one more that came in. Let's see. Dakin Tool says his number 10 is Alithia. 9 is Sir Gideon, who he feels is very underrated.
Agreed.
I agree. It's a nice stash. Scapular, Juno, Valak, Poxus, Thistlethorn, Snag, Ravina. Did I say that right? Ravina. And number 1 is Azza. It's the mystery and the look. Always be number 1. Good picks. I mean, common picks that we're seeing amongst us, right? Like it's great.
And I'm gonna say that Ravina, she was among my honorary mentioning. She's brilliant. She didn't make my list. So
right.
top 2.
Let's
Top
get
two.
this.
It has come to top 2. Steven, this is your second pick.
Oh, wait. I have to get that off of there.
Calisir.
Yep. Second, he's by far next level figure right there. Poxus Wave was good. He was the standout, I think. I'm not gonna say he's the best figure in the wave, but just I don't know.
But you put him at the second best figure ever.
Yeah, I think he is.
Ever?
Accessory wise, paint wise, fun wise, deluxe wise, soft goods wise. Yeah, I think he's the second best figure ever.
Steven, I this is one of the figures that I was least interested in getting in this wave, and the most positive surprises. I was so overwhelmed with how much I love this one as well.
Yeah. I mean, he hangs out with me. He's right here. I mean, I got one right here because I like to play with him. I like to look at him. I like to pick up all these little details you don't see, like you don't see in that picture. What his paint really looks like on the top of his head.
Share it with
I
the
mean,
world.
on my camera's not that good, but I mean, he's just got all these extra details in there, and you can't see those dots in my camera either. But I mean, he's deluxe. He just feels deluxe. You pull him out, you feel like you're handling something more than the rest of the figures.
Yes.
That's it. That's how I feel.
Len, do you hate it?
The heart wants.
Oh, no, I don't hate it. I think Steve's right. It's deluxe is a great way to describe it. I think Bill Dorklair also described it as being like a figure obscura-ish. Like it had that feel to it and quality and build, and it is definitely a great figure. I think it's a little new for me to put that high, but it's good.
Yeah. Figure that.
It's a little new.
You gotta love and learn and live with things.
You feel like you're cheating on the older figures if you like a new one.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay, so Len, let us all know: is your second choice on the list a new one?
I hope it's not the genie. I don't know.
It's Grisha.
Kershaw. Yeah, I love this figure. I think it was one of the first figures in the line that I really like noticed the artistic style and difference of this line compared to all the others out there. You know, it's like here you have this like sword and sandals line with knights and skeletons and all that, and here we go with one with this like, you know, what is that style of helmet? Like, you know,
Russian.
yeah, like a Russian cathedral type of helmet, and it's just so different, right? Like the colors are striking, and from an artistic point of view, it just really grabbed me
Yeah.
when I first saw it and first owned it, and I really love this figure.
Yeah. I agree. It's an absolutely great figure, and it's one of those helmets like we said about Brother Mandibulus, or that I said that it's like, isn't that a silly helmet? But it's like, no, it's perfect. It creates a character out of all of this. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just different. Like at a time too, and earlier on, when you know, to make that artistic decision to make it look really different, you have to commend that, and then and the color choices too. Like it's a beautiful palette.
Yes.
I think I've always looked at this figure as, I don't know if I like it, but it is so unique. I want it in my collection.
Makes
That's fair.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like me, like going back way back in the beginning. It was like some of the same reasons. It's so different. It sets it apart from a lot of the other figures that we see, and the colors, like, you know, it all goes really well together. But it's not necessarily. It was kind of like the turning point for me as to like what changed with me not really having like 2.0s in my collection, because this one that I got it. I was super excited. I had it out, and I could never get it to stand. It never wanted to stand up. And then I ended up moving that one. And then I ended up, like, however long later, I was able to pick up a second one. And then one of the ankle joints was kind of like frozen. And I brought it over to one of our meetups with Giovanni and Joe, and they took a look at it. And like, I tried to do what they say, and it just I couldn't ever get it. So it was always like wanting to like lean forward. So it was at that point, I think it was that one, and then Lucretia, and then the Vampire Knight, that I ended up just moving. And like, I like them. I have the Elf Legion Builder and the Elf Ranger, but outside of that, those are really the only 2.0s other than the Goblins that I have. But it's still a great looking figure.
Yeah.
Well, I love that figure, warts and all. No, I know what you're saying, Chris. It's the same like I said about Brother Mandibulus. Like you have that like kind of one bad experience, and it can kind of like make it drop down your list, or maybe you don't want it as much, or it's just kind of turns you off, as opposed to like that great experience out the box. And I get it.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what do you have in second place of all-time best Mythic Legion figures? Scaphoid.
Scaphoid.
Yes.
It's, I don't know, skeletons again. Like, I love skeletons, and this one is just, it's completely different from the other ones. While you still get like the bones, it's just that color, the green and the purple. It's just everything about it. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's great. And then, you know, the last month I had a paint meetup, and I think this is one of the points that really put it higher up on my list. Is I wasn't really looking to get more scaphoids, but then after we had our paint meetup and Jonathan Hughes went with us, went over the paint matching, doing paint matching scaphoid. It was kind of like the turning point, where it's like, now if I see some scaphoids, I'm going to want to pick them up. I have two, but I want more. Because like, I have a painted. This is one of the ones that I did. I still got to do some touch ups.
Good choice
On that.
That's right. Let's go. Chris.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll bring this back to like I did that. So I gotta touch it up a little bit more, and then I also did this one.
Yeah, they're
I
cool.
also
That's a good
gotta
one.
finish that up, and then I have this ready to go for this weekend.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be
Oh, I
doing
can't
that
wait.
this weekend.
I'll tell you what, I tried that one, and it was challenging for me. I'm not as skilled. I'm sure you'll knock it out of the park, but that torso can be a little challenging.
I don't know. I hope so. I'm not
No,
nowhere in
you'll
the
do
level
fine
of
with it.
anybody in this chat, but I can't wait to see what happens with it. I'm really excited. Like I said, I think it's really based off of this that I want to get more scaphoids. It's really got I got an itch that's for scaphoid.
And there are more that shares your opinion. Even Custom Scaffold is my number 2 also. And
Nice.
Alberto Morales, just my all-time favorite. So, for example. So,
Cool. Emil,
moving
what
on
you
to
got?
my... What? Yeah,
What do
okay.
you have?
My second figure is Callis here.
Mm.
And it's so crazy. I've already talked about him, but it really is like one of those figures that I wasn't interested in. And when I'm going to do a summary, it's like, this might be my second favorite Mythic Legions of all time. And that's crazy. Isn't it crazy? But it's wonderful.
Mhm.
It's wonderful. And the thing is, it's in every way. It's like it articulates well. It's like it feels like the joints are good. All of those small things as well. I'm just happy. Just happy.
Just to touch on it real quick, when we were when I was up at HeroesCon, it was my first time seeing it out of the box, and I got to mess around with it, see all the details on the stock one. But then on display, Ish had he had an Farius, and then there was a head on it. And I was looking at the head, and I was like, "This looks really familiar." It was a paint matched head of that to a Farius, and it looked phenomenal. I didn't even notice it at first, and what gave it away was like the hair. And then I looked at it, and I was like, "Wow, holy crap, that actually is that!" And it looked absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
That sounds cool. So we are finally there. The number 1, the best released Mythic Legions figures up to date. Up till date. What do you say? Till date? Till now?
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
doing good, buddy.
It's a hard language. Steven, Poxus.
Poxus is, I kind of surprised myself with this. And this
Myself with this.
this made me do some soul searching. I think he's the coolest of the Dark Four. He's a very deluxe feeling figure. I think as well. I really loved, I loved how when he came out, people there was I remember there was some Facebook posts about saying you can't have him shooting his bow and you can, and it really forced me to really get in and pose this guy around. And he's very posable. He's very usable. He's one of the Dark Four that you can mess around with. And you have to be careful with him and everything because he's got a lot going on as well. But you can really get him into some cool poses. I love his bow with the wings on it, like Chris said earlier, the powered up version. I just think that this is all around the most badass, disgusting, fun, crazy figure in the line.
I like how you described him. It made me like him even more.
Yeah. He's a great figure. I mean, I've heard critiques on his boots, his selection of shin and boot being old, but it works. Like, if it's not broke, then why fix it? It looks great.
If it works with him,
it's
then
great.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
what do we do? Throw those old parts out and never use them again, even when they suit the purpose?
exactly, Steven.
You know?
Exactly.
Happy to see your list, Stephen. I think it's a beautiful list.
Thanks, buddy.
The second list, we shall see if it. Len, your number 1 figure
What is it? Show me.
Scaphoid.
Yeah, come on. This guy's metal. Some people call him number 2. I call him number 1.
So it's
I mean, come on, man. I got a freaking...
Okay. Wait a minute.
I got a
Show
big
it.
picture up. I got like a stretched
You
canvas
got a
of the guy.
picture
Like,
of
I'm
him?
not gonna pick him for number one.
Yeah, I think that was an easy call for old Lenny.
I can't wait for what's his name, Calvius, the red guy, to come out, because I'm gonna have a red one and a green one, and I'm gonna have a lot of them, and it's gonna be fun.
This is a really classy list, a list of nostalgia going back.
Yeah, if that list could smoke a cigar, it'd be a Cuban.
So it feels like we shall see the final one for Chris, but so far it feels like Chris and Len, your lists are, I get the same vibe from them,
Mhm.
So here we go. Yay!
Brother Mandibulus. I remember seeing him on Big Bad, and the first time I saw him, I was just like, this is like the most badass figure that I had ever seen. And he's been that way every time that I see him. He's one of the few figures that I really, really want to own a test shot of eventually at some point. He's just phenomenal in every way. I don't know. He's great.
I love when you talk good about Brother M. So it's just, you can just continue all night.
It's a great torso too. I love the paint job on it. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's one of his best parts.
Yeah, it's neat.
And the soft goods. There are not many figures who have. Well, now there are coming more, but up until just the latest Necronominus waves. I mean, skirt pieces in soft good, not many.
And
And
tattered.
it's like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So my final pick,
I'm really curious to see what Emil's number one figure is.
Steven. Give me a guess. One guess. If Brother M wouldn't be on the list, you would have guessed that, I'm sure. Okay, here it comes. Arachagor.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
wouldn't have
like-
guessed. I wouldn't have guessed that, but I agree with it.
I knew from the beginning that when I started to go through this, like Arachagor is gonna be on the list. That was easy for me. That was like, it has to be there. I was a bit surprised myself when I started to realize that he is the number one figure. He's that figure when you open the box and it's like, almost like a tear in your cheek, and it's like, it's you and me now. It's always gonna be you and me, and then you realize you're talking out loud, and the people around you is like, can we watch TV? And it's like, no, it's we have a moment here. Oh,
It's
it
excellent.
was cool to see him on your list as well, Steven. And when you said, you put him down low, and when you said, I think I should have placed him higher, I was like, buddy, we got it covered. Len and Chris, we share so much together, but when it comes to this list, it feels like Chris hearts Len and Steven loves Emil more. But we're not doing that.
I think I love everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Pete McCarty has sent a list here that we're gonna share with the world, and no, I'm just kidding. He's not gonna make a list.
You can love people, but you don't like them.
Yeah. Oh,
can
I
do
love
that.
all of you guys, and I'm very happy that you joined, Chris.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I think we all had some pretty good lists. I think we had a list for everybody. Yeah. Let us know. Let us know who's got the best list. Whose list do you identify with the best?
There you go. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like
So-
that. That's gonna be interesting to hear. And then we say next time we'll say who got the most votes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's-
I like that.
Perfect.
And
2-hour show. Good solid show. Covered some ground. Chris joined us. It's the best.
Yeah.
Time to shut her down, boys.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
We
everyone
appreciate you stopping
that was
by.
here.
All right, there's another chapter, everybody. Join